Hi, it's Michael from Serene Risk, and thank you for being a part of the Cybersecurity Revolution for 2020. When was the last time that you went to a conference that had smart contracts, psychology, IoT, digital currency, romance, fraud, awareness, cyber power, and virtual reality all at the same conference? Not only that, presenters from all over the world. If those cyber evangelists are right, then perhaps a conference that has the whole of science and the whole of the world involved is a way that we can actually realize that holistic security that they've been telling us about. This video is not so much to close the 2020 cybersecurity revolution. The cybersecurity revolution continues because one of the goals is to increase the amount of freely available cybersecurity content that's of high quality and is usable for people that there is for them to find online. So we've done that now. That content is there and it'll continue to be used. I would like to thank first Dr. Rutger Lutfeld and Mike Toro for helping organize the European and the Latin American components of this Cybersecurity Revolution conference. I'd then like to thank the other organizers and the other presenters in particular for their part. So I'd like to thank Christina, Elad, Yahi from the Fetterman Cybersecurity Center in Israel for their wonderful presentations. I'd like to thank Alice, Ben, Maria from the Cybersecurity Center at Cambridge, the Cambridge Cybersecurity Center. In particular, I'd like to thank Bug for making a cameo appearance. I'm just going to continue using first names because long names are long and I have a tendency to mess them up, so total respect is intended, but first names is what I'm going with. Also thanks to Rutger, Steve, Raul and Suzanne from the NSCR and or the Hague University of Applied Sciences in the Netherlands. I'd like to thank our local contingent here in Montreal, Marsa from Concordia University and Morgan from the CRPC at the University of Montreal. Salvador did a great job in hosting and moderating the discussion between the Latin American groups. Thank you to him and to all of the presenters. Arturo from Mexico made some excellent points that are, I think, are universal in the problems in getting talent attracted to cybersecurity. I'd like to thank Luigi at the University of Quebec in Ottawa. Thank you to Assem at the University of British Columbia. Thank you to Kyung-Shik Choi at the Boston University and to Mr. Evil for making an appearance in his presentation. Thank you to Mike Toro again, and thank the Cyberpensamiento and Polis for their presentations. And not least, I'd like to thank the team at Serene Risk. To each of those presenters, and to you watching at home, I'd like to say what you're doing is important. At the moment, with the news being filled of the importance of medical research to find a vaccine, it can feel like what you're doing is perhaps not such a great endeavor by comparison. But if we think about pandemic and if our new global environment is one in which pandemics are a new part of life, then each of those remedies will probably only be relative to one or a handful of diseases, which means if we're going to make an effective change and have strategies for reducing risks to do with those kind of diseases, we're going to have to make lifestyle changes. And if this past pandemic has been any indication, any hint for the future, information communications technology is going to be a heavy part of those changes. So the securing of those systems is going to be of utmost importance as we move on. So the work that we're doing now is only going to become more and more important as we move into the future. Cybersecurity is a changing field, and there's always more to learn. This conference is one in which we try to learn to share, develop new techniques for sharing in the digital environment, but also we're sharing to learn. Mike in that Latin American discussion put forward an interesting point about how it's difficult to collaborate across time zones. I mean, even with the advantages that the internet provides in terms of reducing space and really taking distance out of the equation, the world is still round, it still spins, it's still nighttime in places, and there's still going to be different groups, different cultures, different timelines in operation. So learning how to operate, how to collaborate, how to co-work within that reality is something that we need to practice, we need to get better at, and through being a part of events like this, it's a way of building those skills and building that knowledge within cybersecurity research as a group. We are looking forward to next year. This year has thrown up some particular challenges. I'd like to thank those groups who have been involved, but due to the coronaviruses and the changes that made within their environment, it wasn't ultimately possible for them to take part and present. But these challenges have created a need and shown the use of digital collaboration technologies. So if necessity is the mother of invention, one would expect that the next year we'll see a lot of new technologies, hopefully many of which will help us on our path towards achieving the goal of the cybersecurity revolution, of reducing barriers to access the cybersecurity knowledge that is normally locked away at a physical conference. So this is not to close the cybersecurity revolution for 2020. This is to open the cybersecurity revolution for 2021. I'd like to invite you to be a part of SECREV2021, and I will implore you and let you know that I will need your help. We will all need your help and your advice, your wisdom, your input as soon as possible, so that we can make SECREV 2021 the greatest event that it can possibly be. Thanks.